Hello everybody, welcome back to a brand new video. Today we're going to be taking a look at the 2020 election by the numbers. As you can see here on this side right here where my mouse is, this is the 2016 result, 2020 result, what the swing of each state was. Let me see here. As you can see right here, we have the polling errors on this side. Pretty cool, pretty cool. And right here, you can't see it just yet, but this is the Clinton handicap. Was it perfect? Was it terrible? We're about to take a look. We are. So we can now, take a look at the states and see what the swing was of each state. So first up, Alabama swung to the left by 2 points. That would be a lean margin. Alaska swung by 4 points, so there you go. Which honestly shocked the hell out of me. That's a 4-point swing to Joe Biden's column. Arizona swung by 3 points, roughly. Arkansas, another thing that surprised me considering these last three swung, Arkansas swung to Donald Trump. Trump made gains in Arkansas, which shocked me, honestly. Something that didn't shock me, though, was, Donald Trump made gains in California. Yes, he did. Another thing that didn't surprise me is Joe Biden making big gains in Colorado. Didn't shock me at all. Connecticut, that kind of shocked me a little bit. Not so much. Delaware, 6 and 7 points respectively. That didn't really shock me. DC didn't trend at all. It literally stayed the same. It's like there was no turnout, or there was no increase or decrease in turnout. Florida, this really shocked me, and that's Donald Trump swinging the state by 2 points into his column. So that's pretty good on his part. Georgia, something that shocked everybody was Joe Biden swinging the state by 5 points. That is something, I'll tell you that much. Hawaii swung to Donald Trump by 2 points. It shouldn't have shocked anybody, really. But, of course, it still did. Despite Hawaii's big blue nature, it did swing 2 points to the Trumpster. Idaho swung by 1 percentage point to Joe Biden. Illinois swung to the Trumpster by 0.1%. So, Illinois swung to the right this election cycle. Indiana swung to Joe Biden 3 points. The winner usually does make big gains in most of the states, so the states that are trended red, those are states that will continue to trend red for the foreseeable future. Depending on how much, I don't know. That's what I believe anyway. Iowa swung by 1.2 points into Joe Biden's column. Kansas swung by 6 points. This shouldn't have, surprised anyone. Kansas has been trending blue the last few election cycles, so there you go. Kentucky swung by 3 points. Louisiana trended by 1 point to Joe Biden's column. Maine at large swung by 6 points. That kind of shocked me, considering I had it at tilt D. I thought Trump was going to make gains up in the New England area, especially these two states right here, New Hampshire and Maine. Maine's first swung by 8.2 points, so much for any Republican trying to flip that district anytime soon. Maine's second swung by 2.8 points, so not that big of a surprise. A lot of people did say it was going to swing to the left a little bit. I didn't, however, because I'm a moron, so it didn't shock that many people. Maryland and Massachusetts both swung by 6 points respectively. Let's see here. Michigan swung by 2 points into Joe Biden's column. Minnesota swung by 5 points. Mississippi swung by 1 point. Missouri swung by 3.3. Maybe Missouri's going back into its battleground-esque. Maybe Missouri's going back to be a battleground. Maybe, who knows? That could happen. Montana 4 points. Missouri can end up becoming not Missouri, but Montana can end up becoming a battleground within the next 10 years. Who knows? Nebraska at large swung by 6 points. Nebraska's first swung by 5 points. Nebraska's second swung by 8 points. That shocked a lot of people. Not Joe Biden winning the district, but how much he won it by. That is a big freaking swing into his column. Nebraska third swung by 1 point, so not that much. New Hampshire, or Nevada, excuse me. Nevada actually trended to the right of this cycle. Not by much, similar to Illinois. It wasn't much, but it did swing to the right. New Hampshire swung by 7 points. New Jersey swung by 1.8 points. So not that much of a swing into Joe Biden's column. Not that much.
Hey, what are you doing over there?
New Mexico swung by 2 points. Not that much considering how much he won the state by in 2020. New York, he barely trended New York to the left. Barely. Despite New York becoming more and more blue. Actually, I won't say that. Upstate New York has actually been trending red in most recent cycles. And a little bit in, parts of New York City, too. I won't say all of New York City, but parts of it has. North Carolina swung to the left by 2 points. North Dakota also swung by 2 points. Ohio, despite, Ohio, Trump pulling ads away from Ohio, Biden barely made any sort of gains in Ohio. Barely. So, Ohio is most likely a Republican stronghold going forward. It wouldn't surprise me if Trump or DeSantis or whoever is the 2024 Republican nominee wins Ohio by a safe margin. Oklahoma, that was won by 4 points, or swung 4 points in Joe Biden's column. Oregon, yeah, Oregon's no longer a possibility for a battleground anymore. Not anymore. Joe Biden won it by 16 points, so it's staying in the blue column for a little while longer. Pennsylvania swung by 1 point despite, Biden flipping the state. Rhode Island, 5 points, another state that Republicans were hoping to make a battleground, but didn't. South Carolina, 2 points. That 2 points actually makes a big difference because Trump only won it by 11 points. So if Republicans don't play their cards right in 2024, this South Carolina could end up becoming a battleground at the end of the day. South Dakota, swung by a lean margin. Tennessee, Texas, we'll get to Texas here in a second. Tennessee, 2 points. 2 point swing into Joe Biden's column. Now, Texas, as you saw, was a 3-point swing, despite the fact that, yeah, some time and money was put into Texas. If they can swing someplace like Kansas and Georgia by, 5 points or more, why couldn't they Texas? Maybe the Texas swing stopped. Maybe, because 3 points that's not good. Clinton swung it by, I think, 5 points or more in 2016. Joe Biden can't even do that in the state of Texas, despite having Beto O'Rourke on his campaign team. So, maybe because it was Beto? Who knows? Utah swung to the right. Despite the Democrats saying it was going to trend to the left, it swung to the right, more so than any other state. Yeah, so far. More than any other state. Swung to the right by 2.4 points, more than any other state. Tell me Utah's trending blue again, I dare ya. Vermont swung to the left by 9 points. It's getting even bluer. Virginia swung to the left by 4 points. Washington swung to the left by 3 points. West Virginia swung to the left by 3 points. Wisconsin swung to the left by 1 point. And Wyoming swung to the left by 3 points. So this is the swing map, essentially. If you know the margins, then should be fine. Should be 100% fine. Now let me just clear all this off so we can get to our next set of numbers, which is the polling based off of our 15% or less battleground map. So let's just fill out that map right now. Let's see here. There you go. We're going to fill out Rhode Island because Rhode Island doesn't have any polling, so we can just fill that as safe, of course. Rhode Island didn't get any polling. Sad. Now let's fill out the Republican states, of course, from the 2016 for the battleground we had this year. That's it, right there. Let's start filling out. Okay, the polling had Alaska at 4.5 points for Trump, winning at 4.5 points. Ended up being a 10-point victory for the president, or for the former president, and it was a polling error of 5.5 points. So a likely margin, a polling error of a likely margin. Arizona was said to go to Joe Biden by 9.9 points. He won it by 0.3, a polling error of 0.6 in favor of Donald Trump. Colorado was said to go to Joe Biden by 9.5, actually went to him by 13.5, so that's a swing of 4 points into Joe Biden's column. So the states here in blue, I would say are trending blue, are the states that I would believe trend blue, and the ones in red were the states I believe are trending red. Connecticut was said to go to Joe Biden by 18. He actually won it by 20, so a polling error of a lean margin. Delaware was said to go to Joe Biden by 19.3, actually went to him by 18.9, a polling error of negative 0.4 for Donald Trump. Florida was said to go to Joe Biden by 0.9 points, actually went to Donald Trump by 3.3, a polling error of 4.2. Not good. That is really bad. I mean, I'm saying the margin of error is 5. I'm just gonna say that. Alright, but daggum. Georgia was said to go to Donald Trump by -1, actually went to Joe Biden by 0.2, a polling area of 1.2 for Joe Biden in Georgia. Iowa was said to go to Donald Trump by 2 points, actually went to him by 8.2, so a polling error of 6.2%. Whoops. So that is above the set margin of error that I have. That is really bad. I just think polling in Iowa is just bad, just in the first place. Okay, next, Maine at large said to go to Joe Biden by 11.2%, went to him by 9, a polling error of 2.2%. Not good, guys. Maine's first was said to go to Joe Biden by 21.4, actually went to him by 23, a polling error of 1.6. Next up is Maine's second, was said to go to Joe Biden by 1.2%, went to Donald Trump by 7.4 points, a polling error of 8.6. That is just bad. That's awful. Like, good God, that is really, really bad. That's a really bad polling error, guys. Good God. Michigan was said to go to Joe Biden by 4.2, went to him by 2.7, a polling error of 1.5. Minnesota had a polling had it at 4.3%, actually went to Joe Biden by 7.1. That was a polling error of 2.8%. So Joe Biden would have kept the state of Minnesota no matter what. Nebraska's second, polling had it at 5 points. Joe Biden won it by 6.5, so that's a polling error of 1.5 in Joe Biden's favor. Nevada, 2.4, polling had it, but in reality it was 2.3, a negative 0.1 polling error for Donald Trump. New Hampshire, polling had it at 9.6. Biden won it by 7.3, polling error of 2.3 points. That's within the margin of error. New Jersey, polling had it at 19.8, but it actually went to Joe Biden by 15.9, a polling error of 3.9 points. Again, still within the margin of error. New Mexico was said to go to Joe Biden by 12.6, actually went to him by 10.7, a polling error of 1.9 points for Donald Trump, yet again within the margin of error. Excuse me. North Carolina was said to go to Donald Trump by 0.2 points, or percentage points, but it actually went to him by 1.3. That's a polling error of 1.1 in favor of Donald Trump. Ohio was said to go to Donald Trump by -1, by 1 points, but it actually went to him by 8. That's a polling error of 0.7. That's beyond the margin of error. Again, polling so far, polling has been bad in Iowa, Maine's second, and where is it at? Fuck, I lost it. And Ohio. God, I can't believe I lost Ohio. I'm sorry, guys. Oregon, Was said to go to Joe Biden by 12, went to him by 16, a polling error of 4 points in Joe Biden's favor. Pennsylvania was said to go to Joe Biden by 1.2, actually went to him by 1.1, so a margin of error, so a polling error of 0.1 in Donald Trump's favor. Again, that ain't nothing, so nothing to be upset over. South Carolina was said, that's a mistake, hold on, that's a mistake, let me fix it. Nope, that's not correct. My OCD, dagummit. Was said to go to Donald Trump by, 6... was said to go to Donald Trump by 6.4 points, actually went to him by 11.6, so a polling error of negative 0.5 or 5.2 in Donald Trump's favor. So that's right on the borderline of the margin of error. Texas, dadgummit, I did it again. Texas was said to go to Donald Trump by 1.3 points, went to him by 5.5 points, a margin of error of 4.4. See. Virginia, polling had it at 12.2. Joe Biden won it by 10.1, a margin of error of 2.1 points for Donald Trump. Washington, polling had it at 25.2. I had it at roughly 22, 23. But Joe Biden won it by 19.2, a margin of error of 6 beyond the margin for Donald Trump. That's weird. Seeing Washington red, that just cringes me. That really does cringe me. Georgia kind of cringed me because it looked out of place. Same thing with Colorado, but daggum. It's like you have a fully red map and there's that one state that's not on a border, but like you smack dab in the middle. You know what I'm talking about? Anyway. Again, finally, Wisconsin had it at 6.7 for Joe Biden, 0.6. Yet again, we have another polling error of 6 points in favor of the Republican in Wisconsin. Now, if we were to apply this map in reality, Donald Trump would have won 348 electoral votes to Joe Biden's 109. Now, let's take a look at the Clinton handicap. Now, if you don't know what the Clinton handicap is, you really need to go back and watch some of my videos. I explain it in great detail. Essentially, what that means is we use the polling errors from the previous election, and we apply it to this current election. And it's not supposed to give us the exact... My theory was it's not supposed to give us the exact result, but something that's relatively close to it. How close was it this time? Like, is the Clinton handicap a thing? Can we actually use that as a polling metric? Or is it just something Republicans made up to make themselves feel better? We're about to take a look. So, of course, we take the 2016 margin of error, the handicap result, which would give it at 16.7. Then we take the actual 2020 result, and then we've got the margin of error. But first, we're going to take a look at the handicap result, see how close we get. Okay, first up is Alaska, had it at 16.7 points. We know that's wrong by a big margin. Arizona was at 1.4. That's not off by that much. Colorado, 11.5. Not off by that much. Connecticut, 20.9. Again, not off by much. Delaware, 15.3. It was off by like 3 points, but it should be fine. Florida, we had it at a tilt. It would be put it at a tilt margin. So let's just smack that baby right up in there. So that was off, but by only like, what, 3 points? Georgia, we had it at 1.3. Iowa, 8.5. Again, that's really close. Really, really close. Maine at large, 8.6. Again, that's really close to the actual result. Maine's first, 25.9. Really, that's close to the result. Maine second, 8.2. Again, that's close to the result. So far, so good. We've had a couple bad ones. Like, we've had Alaska and Florida. So far, the bad eggs. Michigan, 10 points. That would have been 2.6. Again, that was really close to the actual result. Minnesota, again, we have another bad egg here. Minnesota was negative 0.4. The result was 7.1, so we have a bad egg in Minnesota. Nebraska, 11.8. We have another bad egg. Nebraska was overshot by 5 points. I'm sorry, y'all. That was weird. Again, we should put Rhode Island as safe because we all know how that worked out. Ooh. Nevada, we had it at 5.6. Okay, that was off by like 3 points, so you can determine whether it was a bad egg or not. New Hampshire 9.9. Again, only an error of 2 points roughly. New Jersey 21.4. We have another bad egg in New Jersey. New Mexico 15.9. We have another bad egg here in New Mexico, so that's state bad egg. North Carolina 2.9. Again, that was not off by much. Not off by much. Ohio 5.6. Not off by much, by roughly 2 or 3 points. Next up is Oregon, 14 points, not off by that much. Honestly, it wasn't. Compared to the 16-point victory Joe Biden had. Pennsylvania, 1.5. What? That confuses me. But Joe Biden won it by 1, so that's a margin of error of 2. Not that much of a error. Next up is South Carolina, 14 points, 11.6, 2 or 3 points. I'll let you decide if that's a bad egg or not. So again, at least I got the margin correct on that one. Safe. Texas, okay, we have a bad egg here. The polling would have had it go to Joe Biden by 1.4 points, when in reality it went to Trump by 5.5. So that's, and I'll get to the error here in a second, but that's not a good error. Not a good one. Nope, not a good one. Virginia 12.6, again, not that far off from the actual result. It really wasn't. Washington 27, we have another bad egg up there in Washington again. And then again, polling was pretty bad, but again, there was a bad egg. Wisconsin 0.5. Again, that was close. That was really close. I mean, still, that was really, really close. So this is what the map would have been if the Clinton handicap worked. That's what we're going to call it from now on, is the Clinton handicap. If the Clinton handicap worked, and Joe Biden still would have won the election, guys. Of course, this isn't actually gonna, nobody thought Texas was gonna flip unless you're a moron. But then again, only a handful of Democrats thought Georgia was gonna flip. LTE, political forecast, and election prediction, or not. Well, EPO didn't even figure it out. It was only LTE and political forecast that I saw. So props to you two for getting it, I guess. So, this is what the map would have looked like. Now, let's apply the margin of error, I guess you could say. How bad was it? Like, seriously, did it favor Joe Biden or did it favor Donald Trump? We're about to find that out. Let me just clear this map. So, did it favor Trump? Did the Clinton handicap favor Trump or did it favor Joe Biden? Or, if you know what I mean. I mean, clearly it favors Trump, but did the error favor Joe Biden or did it favor Donald Trump? So, Alaska, a margin of error of 6.7. Again, the bad egg. So there you go. Arizona, margin of error of 1.1. It was 1 off in Donald Trump's favor. There you go. Colorado, 2 points off in Joe Biden's favor. Connecticut, 0.9 points off in Donald Trump's favor. That's weird. That's weird. Oh God, why? Delaware, 3.6. That's in Joe Biden's favor. So we underestimated Joe Biden in his own home state. Florida, 3.2 points off. Again, that's just wow. Georgia, 1.5 off. I think everyone underestimated Joe Biden in Georgia. Props to you. Iowa, 0.3 off. So we underestimated Joe Biden in Iowa. We underestimated him by 0.4 in Maine at large. We underestimated Donald Trump by 2 points in Maine. It's first. Maine second, we underestimated Joe Biden by 0.8. Oh, crap, where'd I have it? God, please. Man, that's weird. That's inverted, I feel like. That's inverted. I don't like it. We underestimated Joe Biden by 0.1 in Michigan. We underestimated Joe Biden by 7 points in Minnesota. Good God, that's a bad egg. Bad egg. Nebraska second, we underestimated Donald Trump by 5 points. We're going to call that a bad egg. Nevada, we underestimated Donald Trump by 3 points. In New Hampshire, we underestimated Donald Trump by 2 points. In New Jersey, we underestimated Donald Trump by 5 points. That's another bad egg. In New Mexico, we underestimated Trump by 5 points. Another bad egg. North Carolina, we underestimated Joe Biden by 1 point. That's my home state, and I thought I knew a lot about North Carolina, but then again, it wasn't off by much. I love my home state. Mwah, mwah. I love you so much. Ohio 2.4. We underestimated Trump in a state where a lot of people even with the handicap, we still underestimated Donald Trump. What? Oh, in Oregon, we underestimated Joe Biden by 1 point.
Get down!
In Pennsylvania, we underestimated Biden by 2 points. In South Carolina, we underestimated Biden by 2 points. In Texas, we underestimated Trump by 6 points, so that's a bad egg. In Virginia, we underestimated Trump by 2 points. Is that Washington? That's Washington. Washington, another bad egg. We underestimated Trump by 7 points. And in Wisconsin, we underestimated Joe Biden by 1.1 points. So yeah, it favors Donald Trump. The error favors the Trumpster. So yeah, either way, it favors Trump. So yeah, there you go. Like, even with the even us underestimating all the candidates, we still, underestimated Trump more than we did Biden, even with the handicap, from what I see. Then again, it's close, very close. You could also say we underestimated Joe Biden more, even because South Carolina's blue on the map, Iowa's blue on the map. Then you could say we underestimated Trump because Washington's red on the map, Nevada, New Mexico's red on the map, Connecticut, New Jersey's red on the map. You could say either one. Both stories work. So guys, I've got to get ready for work. First day of a new job. This is the Chaotic One saying, peace.